Evan Carmichael.
Let's go, man. Justin, welcome to Canada.
Thank you, man. It's quite cold out here. I'm not used to it.
Yeah, good. Strengthens you.
So when you were in university studying to become a banker, you turned down a dream job to join your two friends at their biotech software company, giving up security and a nice life for a shot at your dream. What led you to make that choice?
I like how he's diving in. It was the hardest decision of my life. And I made it out of, Jeff Bezos has a regret minimization framework that I learned about. Basically, live with as few regrets as possible. And I imagined myself being an old man at 40. Now, how old am I now? I'm like 44. I'm 44. But when you're 19 or 20 or whatever, like 44 is ancient. So I told myself when I'm an old man at 40 and like life is over and it's finished, you're going to look back on your life and regret this moment.
Yeah.
And so I'd rather know and fail than not know. And so I told myself, I'm going to give myself a year of trying this. I thought I could get another job if I needed to. It may not be the same job, may not be for as much money, may not be with the same company, but I could get a similar job if I really wanted to. I didn't know if this other thing would come up ever again. And so I didn't want to regret not knowing. I said I would rather know and fail than not know. And that after I made that mental switch, like then it's obvious that I have to go and do that.
I like that regret minimization
Framework. Jeff Bezos. That's probably like a less geeky way of saying it, but yeah, that really helped me.
It reminds me of Alex Ramosi has a similar framework where he goes, whichever choice will be the more epic story when I'm older, I always choose that one. Because I want to be the guy that's old with a super scraggly beard and all these cool stories. That's quite cool. That's quite cool indeed. So at 19, you were making around $300 a month with your two friends in that same company, and within 2 years, that company was acquired for 7 figures. What was the biggest change you made to turn that company around?
Ooh, wow, that's interesting. Probably asking for help. You know, we were trying to do everything ourselves, and we didn't know what we were doing. We're making mistakes everywhere, and that can sometimes be a good thing. You know,
Right.
Being new to a field, you come up with brand new ideas. But it was when we started asking for help and getting some mentors, not in the space because it was a super small niche space,
Yep.
but just in general, getting advisors to bounce ideas off of who are a little more seasoned helped us. And every step along the way in my life, when I tried to do something myself, it just does okay. But when I ask for help and try to involve somebody else, that's when I start to turbocharge my success. And it's funny because I'm still afraid of asking for help. It's like it's the thing that I know has helped me the most and still the thing that I struggle with doing.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
collaboration's scary, man.
Well, not even collaboration. I mean, collaboration, yes, but like asking somebody in when you're asking for help, if we're doing a collaboration like this, it's cool. It's like, hey, hopefully we both benefit from it. When you're asking for help, you know, can the mentor benefit? Sure, but it's not. You're probably not going to be able to give your mentor very much, especially at the beginning. And so it's just a lot harder to ask somebody for help when you feel like you can't reciprocate.
Yes.
Well, it's harder to do the ask.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's where I think we could all do a better job, but me in particular.
It's also a bit of a there's vulnerability there, asking people for help, right?
Yeah. I remember I was at this, I don't know if you know Brendan Burchard. He's a thought leader, entrepreneur, speaker. He was doing, he has his private mastermind. You can't buy into it. It's just basically his friends at his place. It was in Puerto Rico at the time. And there were all these big name people there, Russell Brunson, who started ClickFunnels, and billionaires, and a lot of people in the YouTube world who had millions of subscribers and thought leaders. And he invited me to come. And at first I thought, well, what am I going to help these people with? Like, I was teaching mostly about belief, you know, like I'm going to teach these guys how to believe in themselves more. Like, it's huge imposter syndrome. And Brendan pulled me aside before day one started, and he said, make sure you ask. So it's like, you default to always helping. Make sure you ask for something. Make sure, like, when it comes to you, the format was not super structured. It's just like everybody goes around, you get 20 minutes, what do you need help with? And then the whole table pours into them. So make sure when it comes to you that you actually ask for something instead of just trying to help others, right? And so, like, okay, I took that to heart and then asked, right? Which is uncomfortable. So, and it's a great lesson and reminder still, like, whatever my next step is, I probably need to ask more help for that too.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice, man. That's nice. You always got to ask, right? Always ask for, especially in like you just said, the mentor-mentee relationship. If you're giving more value than you're receiving, or if you're receiving more value than you're giving, it's always nice to reciprocate, right?
Yeah, I think whatever your default is, you probably need to do a little more of the other, right? So like there are some people who just ask and never give. Like,
Right.
well, you should probably give a little more, or the people who plan and never do, you should do more. But the people who do and never plan, you might need to plan a little bit more, right? It's like whatever is your comfort zone, you probably need to do a little bit more of the thing that's outside your comfort zone.
Yes.
Because that's where a lot of your growth will happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So going back to that software company, after you made your exit, you started raising money for companies in the venture capital industry.
Mm-hmm.
What was the one most important thing you learned about business in the world of venture capital?
Probably still connected to mentorship. I joined a company that had 4 people who were in their 60s or 70s. These were the principal founders of the business. And they knew about so many businesses and had so much experience. When you're in venture capital, you see all sorts of industries. Like you have all sorts of different companies. They have to be high growth companies, I guess. So you're not going to have a slow growth little business. Bring her up. I only knew my one business. Like I only knew biotech software. That's
Right.
it. That's all I knew. And so I also didn't know anything about financing. Like we never had to go get financing, and I was curious about it. We sold our company before. It was either raise a lot of money and build a beast or sell
Yep.
and be part of a beast. And so we chose to sell. I actually didn't want to, but that's a whole other story that maybe we dive into. So I went to go learn about venture capital, how to raise money, just in case I ever needed to do. I was just curious about it. And the best thing that came out of it was when people were pitching business ideas, how do you evaluate a business plan? How do you evaluate the owners? How do you understand their business model and if it's a good idea or not? Like I didn't really know. I'm 22, I sold my business, made a little money, cool, but I only had experience from university and then my one business. And so seeing how quickly they would break down a business plan and financial statements, and then when we brought entrepreneurs in, the questions they asked and how quickly it's like, wow, this is a whole new world that I had no idea about.
Right.
So I still use a lot of that information today when I'm helping people and they might be in some super wacky industries, like, oh, I've seen something like this, right? And so how do you know so much? Well, I saw all these businesses from being in venture capital, where a lot of times people only know their one niche in one industry because that's all they've done. So that was probably it. Just the mentorship of the 4 people, and I think they poured into me. I mean, they were 60s or 70s. They liked my energy. I'm 22. I'm this young kid coming in. I was generating deals for them. So they had the street. They were connected to all the investors. They knew how to raise money, but they didn't want to do the hustle of getting new deals coming in. They weren't connected to the young entrepreneurs who needed the money. And that's a hustle game, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, I'm young. I'm willing to hustle.
You got to bring that energy.
So I brought
right?
in the energy, and they saw this young kid that they could, pour into, who was a sponge. And so they just being around them, I would learn so many different lessons about business and how to understand an industry and a company that I was super grateful for that experience. It was a year and a half or 2 years. I didn't want to be a venture capitalist as a business, as my profession, but it was a super great experience after selling my company. I wouldn't have changed anything about it.
So going from such a niche company and industry, biotech software, can you explain kind of what that is just for context?
So it was early stage drug discovery. So basically, if you're trying to solve cancer, there's a cell that has cancer. In very layman's terms, and I'm also not like the technical person, but you have a cell with cancer. So what are you going to do? You need to open up the cell, put something in, close the cell, and see if the cancer goes away.
Gotcha.
Or if the cell dies, or if it gets worse or whatever, right? Most of the time it doesn't work. But if you find something that gets rid of the cancer after you close the cell, it's like, oh, that's a potential drug. So that's what our software would help you design the experiment around that, and then also publish the report. So once you found your findings, how do you publish your report so that it can be seen by people?
Gotcha.
And so we had Johnson & Johnson as clients, we had NASA as clients, we had a lot of big biotech companies, government organizations, pharma companies using, universities using the tool. And I was in charge of the business side of things, getting customers, getting distributors, getting media attention. And it was really hard because I was 19 and I had all this insecurities. I'm not a scientist. Science was my worst subject in high school. And now I'm like trying to sell this biotech software company. I sounded young, so I had a youngish voice.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing phone calls, I was so worried they'd, notice me and like, oh, are we even talking to the right? Now it's an advantage. I mean, it depends on the industry. Like if you're going to hire somebody for social media for your company, you're probably not going to somebody who's in their 50s, right?
Yeah,
You're going to
exactly.
somebody who's in their 20s. Like you're going to the younger generation because you just expect them to know more. But at the time, it was like these guys were twice my age, had all these PhDs and backgrounds, and I had this young voice. Like, oh my God, this was terrible. So I did everything over email.
Yeah.
And it was a big learning experience for me just to get comfortable being a young person and betting on yourself. But again, I gave myself a year. This has to work out or I'm going to go back and take one of those jobs. And luckily, I didn't have to go back and get a job. We went through some pretty lean moments, but it ended up working out. My first deal was this company in the UK that was $13,500 that I got to sign up front.
From $300 to $13,500.
Yeah, it's like
a
a
big
13.5K deal at that time. Dude, I was a millionaire.
Yeah,
Like
on cloud
that was
nine, right?
everything, dude. And I was scared to send the email. And we were doing an exclusive arrangement where they would sell our software in London, in Europe, in UK, and maybe another country. And they had to hit requirements and et cetera. But we did a upfront fee of $13,500. I was like, do we even charge anything? Should it just be like $500 or should it be $1,000? And I don't know where the 13.5 came from. I was like, I'm just going to send this. And they said, okay. And they're like, what? This is insane. We're rich, man. We're rich. Because you're right. Like from $300 a month to 13.5K was a huge, huge, huge deal.
Right.
And more importantly, it gave me a model I could follow again. So I could sign other distributorships, other deals. And we have proof of concept now with one market. So that really helped. And so we started making, some money. Like I didn't make any real money in the business because we sold it. And so it was in the sale of the business that I made some money.
Right.
But yeah, it was a wild 3 years in that company.
Wild ride.
Yeah.
So in a 2015 interview with Productive Magazine, you said, "I don't think people."
What 2015 is? This guy's done his homework here. I don't even know what Productive Magazine is. Okay, good.
You said, "I don't think people have to burn the boats for them to start a business. Prove it to yourself. Start small. Make sure you love it. Then go all in." Has your view on this topic changed since then?
No, somebody else just asked me like, "You seem like a risk taker." Like, I don't think I'm a risk taker. I don't think I'm a risk taker at all. Other people might look at what I do as risky. I don't think I'm risky.
Well, risky to them, right?
Risky to them, sure, but it doesn't feel risky to me. And so you don't need to quit your job to go and do your thing. It's like, what are you spending your time on right now? Like before I would say quit your job and go all in, I'd look at how are you using your time right now and how can it be used more effectively?
Yeah.
I was just having a conversation with Justin. Can I share this? Justin is my videographer as well as Justin in front of us here. And he wants to do a lot more storytelling. He wants to go from just being this is easy for him to do, this kind of setup with 3 lights and 2 microphones, and it's not really testing him or stretching him, his skills for what he wants to do. But it pays the bills and it's nice and he gets to meet people and whatever. So he wants to work on being a better storyteller. So we just had somebody else in here before who's got an amazing story. Said, okay, well, what were you doing while he was here telling his story? And he was working on an Instagram reel of just like flashy stuff, not thinking about storytelling, not trying to get better. And this is where like good is the enemy of great. So what you're doing is good. And nobody would say like, stop doing that. But if you want to go for great, you have to stop doing the things that are good.
Yeah.
Right. And so stop. Maybe he's paying more attention on this one to see if he's coming up with storytelling ideas. Like stop doing those. Like we all have these micro moments where you can choose to go for something bigger. And so you don't have to go and quit your job. This is just a story that we tell ourselves. Like you have to burn the boats. You have to go all in. Well, no, you don't. It's like you date before you get married. And you are wasting time. I'm wasting time every day. We're all wasting time every day.
Right.
You could be a lot more productive with your time every day. So like focus on that first before you mortgage your house and go all in and go broke trying to do this idea. And I think if you can reduce the risk that way, people are much more likely to get started. We've just created this story for ourselves that I need to go big or go home. It's like that almost never works.
Yeah, you have to like engineer your origin story, or you could lower that barrier to entry and be like, well, I don't have to mortgage my house or quit my job to start this business. I can just put in an hour on the side when I have free time from my job.
Yeah, it's like start with what you've got where you're at and expect to suck and go.
Yeah, everybody sucks when they start, right?
But we expect to be good.
Mm-hmm.
You expect to be, you launch a podcast, you expect to be, this is the problem between skill and taste. You have good taste, but you don't have the skill. So like if you, who's your favorite podcaster? Who's some people you look up to and say, wow, they're great interviewers?
Chris Williamson, probably. Modern
Great.
Wisdom.
Chris Williamson, awesome. So you have good taste, right? It's like he asks great questions, he brings on great guests, but he has a good dialogue, he pulls out their story,
Right.
he's had tons of success. Like I want to be like Chris Williamson, or at least pull some elements from him to make me better, right? And if he's A+, a lot of times what we'll say is like, okay, I'm not Chris Williamson, but I'm not that bad, right? Like I got to be at least, like if he's A+, I'm like a B-, you know, like, and I can get better, right? And then you go and do your first interview and it's not a B-. It's like it's an F. It's like total bomb. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm that bad. I suck at this. This is so terrible. And you have good taste, but you don't have skills.
Yes.
And so it's in that gap that then people quit.
Yep.
And so that's a challenge. Like just expect to be an F. You're not going to be a B- in your first interview. There's no way. Like if you are actually a B- in your first interview, then you suck. Like you should have started 3 years ago.
Right.
Like you waited too long.
Yeah.
Right? You're supposed to come out and be embarrassed by the first thing you made. That's okay. It's like part of the process. You don't just get on a snowboard and like make your way down the hill. You're supposed to fall over a bunch of times, right? So just expecting to suck at the beginning. Most people don't. They expect not to be great, but they expect to be B- against the greats. And they're not. And so that's okay. Right? But if you expect to suck at the beginning, you're much more likely to stick at it.
Yeah, and also you're much more likely to put in a large volume of repetitions, right? Which is basically that's the way you build skill. If you do it over and over and over again for a prolonged period of time, you are bound to get better at it.
Yeah. Now, if you have mentorship, it goes even faster.
Yeah.
Right?
Supercharges the process.
Yeah. Like the only thing I had going for me on my YouTube channel was I just kept going. So there's like 700 videos public until I inspired myself with a video. That's too long. Like I couldn't watch my stuff back. I mean, I say that I couldn't. I could have, but I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I was too embarrassed. I watched my video like, oh my God, this is so bad. And then I stopped. Where you should, you want to get better at something,
You got to keep going.
Analyze what you did wrong.
Yep.
And get some mentorship and get some help. And when I got my agent in New York, he gave me a lot of feedback to get better. And then on my homepage, I show the year-over-year YouTube growth. You probably saw it if you've done all this research. And then you see the year that I met my agent and married my wife. After that, we started to turbocharge.
Exponential.
Yeah. And so I was making content, and I was slowly getting better. But when you combine the repetition with coaching, it turbocharges the process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So your YouTube channel has almost 4 million subscribers now. You're one of the largest creators in your industry. And as you love to say, it's a great start. But what's next for Evan Carmichael? What's the end goal for your YouTube channel?
Oh, those are maybe different questions. I think the world's biggest problem is people don't believe in themselves enough. So that's the mission that I'm on. I don't know how to solve that problem. My best guess at it right now is content at scale.
Yep.
So I think by being able to see the videos that I make showcasing successful entrepreneurs and getting their wisdom, I think that can inspire people who don't have mentorship, don't have a family who's started a business. I think that helps start to shift it. I've also started training other people how to do it. So a lot of the big names in thought leadership, entrepreneurship, we've helped them with their channels and grow. And now we're training the next generation of people. I mean, you're here coming from my mastermind.
Yep.
So thought leadership, everybody here is trying to build their brand, grow their audience, but has a message to try to change the world in some way. So I'm using those skills that I use from my channel to then help other people get their message out to the world. That's my best guess at it right now.
Right.
I'm sure there's smarter ways, and I'm sure as time goes on, every year there'll be new options and different things to do. But that's my best guess, and so I'm trying to attack it in every way that I can think of. But I don't pretend like it's the only answer. And the willingness to, this is another Jeff Bezos one, is being stubborn on the why and flexible on the how. So the why is like, I'm at 120 years old, I'm still trying to solve the world's biggest problem. People don't believe themselves enough. Like that's never going to stop. But the how will change. Like people ask me, well, what happens when YouTube goes away? Well, it's going to go away. You think YouTube's going to be around for the next 80 years? I mean, it might, but probably not. So what do you do next? Well, wherever people are going, that's where I need to be. And if YouTube stops becoming relevant, I mean, right now, like YouTube is hyper relevant. It's like especially for long form education, it's the only place to go to. It's the best place. If that changes in a year or 2 years or 5, then I go to whatever that thing is. I'm about YouTube.
Right.
We might be doing VR into, I get the VR into Hawaii and
Holograms.
yeah, exactly. Like that will be it. We'll be in
Right.
people's living rooms. And so I need to be there and not only on YouTube. So what I encourage people to do is figure out what the why is. And there's a process for that. And you guys, I'm sure, have your own process too with Lifebook. But then the how is going to constantly change, and you're just doing the best you can with what you got and the resources you have right now.
In your book, you say your who you are and why you are doing whatever you're doing that stays forever, but the how is very flexible. Yeah, I completely agree with that, because obviously YouTube may not be around forever, and maybe podcasts are going to become an irrelevant form of content eventually. But that's not going to change why you're doing what you do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think whether even podcasting now has already changed. Podcasting has moved to video in such a heavy way that if you're doing an audio-only podcast in 2025, you're losing. Like, you need to be doing video.
Podcasts are basically YouTube shows now. You put me onto that idea.
And then to be able to clip that for all the other platforms, like you need to be doing that. So if you're only focused on audio only in 2025, you're becoming increasingly irrelevant.
Yep.
Long form educational content will never die. The platform or delivery mechanism might change.
Yeah.
Right? So it might be holograms, it might be VR, it might be something completely different.
Right.
I don't know. But long form educational content, if you want to learn, and like short form entertaining content's not going to go anywhere either.
Exactly.
The format will change.
Yep.
If we look at the social media world right now, there's lots of short form places, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, Snapchat, TikTok. Like there's tons of short form places. There's really no other long form educational content place around. You can have your own podcast, audio only, but distribution is insane to try to get new people on.
Right.
So it's really just YouTube, especially in video.
Yeah.
If there was something else, I would do that. Like IGTV was supposed to kill YouTube. I don't even remember IGTV. Like, oh, it's exciting. And Twitter, you can post your long form videos on X. Cool. It's like, that's not the consumption pattern. Nobody's going to X to watch a 2-hour long interview.
Exactly.
Not yet. So if YouTube loses dominance and goes somewhere else, cool. Then you just follow where those people are going.
So your word is believe. You've said before that everyone has Michael Jordan level talent at something. All you have to do is believe. All you have to do is believe in yourself, excuse me. How has your resounding personal belief changed your life?
I'm still working on it. You know, like belief is an ongoing work in progress. Process? Progress? I don't even know. And people get surprised by that. But you're the believe guy. How do you not believe in yourself? Like, well, it's the belief in the next thing. Like, I don't know how to believe myself to do. What does a 50 million YouTube channel look like? What does a staff of 5,000 people look like? I don't know. It's like, even in saying it, I don't know how to even get there. It doesn't feel like it's possible. People have done it. Well, maybe not 50 million YouTube subscribers. I mean, I guess people have done it, not in education, but a 5,000 person company, lots of people have done it. It's not normal, but it's not impossible. Like, it's not that super rare. It's super doable. But even as I say it, it doesn't feel like it's possible. And so it's an ongoing evolution for me as well to like believe in the next step. And how do I solve it for myself? The same way that I'm teaching. It's like I watch a video every day. I try to surround myself with, like, I don't know Elon Musk yet, but I have him in my ear when I'm watching a video, and some of it seeps into me. Every major step that I've taken, especially in the professional context, has been on the other side of a leap of faith and belief, that I'm going to figure it out. And there's a great quote that we put on a T-shirt of a bird. I'm going to maybe mess it up, but a bird isn't afraid to sit on a branch in a tree because her faith is not in the branch, it's in her wings.
Ooh.
So it's like you might be scared sitting up there on this tall branch, and it's windy. What happens if the branch breaks? That's what most people are like, what happens if my branch breaks? Right. I'm going to fall and die. Like, I don't care if the branch breaks.
Yeah, I got my wings.
I got wings. This is the belief in self, right? That's why I like it, because belief, just a different way of saying it. So yeah, we turn it into a T-shirt. My wife wears it sometimes. But that's how I see it. It's like, what's the next level belief look like? Right. And then start attacking it.
Always thinking about the next level.
Yeah, I mean, we want to grow.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody wants to grow. Everyone wants to continue to improve, and it's the balance of personal growth, but also serving. Like, how can my growth then serve other people? So it's not just about me.
So you love the art of mentoring. What's one trait that all successful or soon-to-be successful entrepreneurs you've mentored have in common?
Loving the thing that they're doing. You know, it's like love the actual process.
Yeah.
And it's not just people I've mentored. It's just the most common trait of success that I found is like you have to love the thing.
Right.
If you're starting this podcast, how many episodes deep are you on this now?
This is the 6th.
Okay, great. If you don't love talking to people, like do something else.
Right.
Right? I mean, people, and like you've done a lot of research, and you're not just showing up and saying, "Hey, Evan, what's up?" You've found articles from 2015 and whatever else you've done. The surprises still to come. But a lot of people start a business because it's the hot thing to do.
Right.
Like start a YouTube channel, start a podcast. It's probably on the list of top 10 things to do this year for business opportunity. But if you don't love the actual work, you're not going to win. So if you're going to do an interview show like this, you better love interviewing people.
Yeah.
And if not, cool. Because you're going up against people who love it.
Yeah.
There's no way you're going to win.
Exactly.
Go do something else.
Because they're going to show up 100% or close to it every single day. And
Yeah, like
some days you're going to be like, I don't want to. Or
if it's just work for you,
yeah.
if it's just a strategy, but it's somebody else's soul, you're just not, like, why are you in that race? Go do something that lights you up.
So the next question was actually, what are the advantages of choosing a career that you're passionate about rather than choosing a career exclusively to generate income? And I feel like you just answered that. You won't win if you're showing up against people that love what they do and you just look at it as a job.
Yeah, or you can win small, but it's cheating your potential.
Right.
Right? It's like thinking. Go back to Justin, my videographer here. What he could do this all day long, and he's good at it. This is like, again, good is the enemy of great. He could do this and it's good, and the post that he put on his Instagram reel is good. Like, it's good, and that can help generate more of these kinds of clients, and he can be filled up with these clients, and he could have a nice little 6-figure business, and great. Like for where he comes from and what his friends are doing and everything else, like it's actually great, right? Like that's actually great.
Right.
His friends are looking and say, "Oh my God, you're living the life." Meanwhile, they're doing something they hate. They're driving a FedEx truck or like whatever, right? They're actually hating their lives, and they look at him as, you are an inspiration, right? Cool. And there's, I guess, nothing wrong with having, you have a 6-figure business, cool. But it's cheating his potential of what he could do.
Right.
And that's the point. It's like, well, when are you going to lean into that thing that you could be great at? Not just doing the thing that you're good at and still kind of like, right? And that's what I'm constantly trying to chase for myself. It's what I'm constantly trying to instill in people that I talk to. And what I love about him is he takes feedback well and wants more of a push. So we had a pretty rough conversation before we started here where I met him a month ago. Our last filming was a month ago. And I gave him an assignment. I was like, start thinking about this and like, let's see what you can do. Like, well, what have you done? Like, oh, well, long story short, he hasn't done anything. He's been thinking about it and like filming stuff, but like hasn't done any real work on it, right? It's like, bro, it's a month later. Like, how long are you going to wait? Right? And he's an action taker. And so people get stuck in these loops of, well, I got to do this and I need yeah, but you could have done it, right? Like there's always time. I'm wasting time, so you're definitely wasting time. We're all wasting time in different areas, right? And I only say that because I love Justin and he's got insane potential. And if he's still just doing this in 5 years, it's a huge waste for humanity. But unless you start reaching out and doing the work, which is going to be messy and slow and frustrating and like suck at the beginning and not work, it's really hard to when you're really good at something like this, to then start over and be messy and you really care about this thing and it's not, you have taste and you like, your thing you're making sucks.
Yeah.
It's hard to work through that. But like, that's the job. That's what you need to do if you want to, in that 5 years or whatever, have tremendous success, make an impact, all your life goals and everything else. And when we look at it through that window, like if I ask Justin, hey, in 5 years, is this still what you're doing most of the time? He's going to say no. But we just lost a month. Like now we're closer to those 5 years and nothing's happened.
Right.
Like how many months are you going to waste? Let's go.
Yeah, you got to start now, right?
Come on, Justin.
So I'll ask you a little bit about your relationship with your wife, Nina.
Okay.
How has your relationship with her impacted your career and financial life? I know you have that chart up on your website that goes year over year, your YouTube subscribers, but how has it impacted not only your career but also your financial life? Yeah,
so I've been with Nina for 12 years, whatever's on the website. Yeah. Neither of us really remember how long, which is great because some guys get in trouble for like, when's our anniversary? Like, oh my God, I don't know. Because we celebrate more This is another thing, is I want to celebrate the marriage more than the wedding. Like the wedding doesn't matter. It's the marriage. People put so much effort on the wedding.
Yeah.
Like it's just a day. Like it's the everyday that matters, at least to me. I've only been a long-term relationship guy. So in university, my first real relationship was 5 years. Then after that ended, I was married for 4 or 5 years, like all in. And then I met Nina. And so my first 2 relationships were really good. Like it's again, like good is the enemy of great. Really good. I think there's 4 types of relationships that you can have. You have your partners who, the worst is they're like actively against your dreams. Like, why are you starting this podcast, Justin? Like, you think you're Chris Williamson? Dude, what are you talking about? Like, do blank, right? They're actively against you. Then you get the ones, which is a little bit better, but still pretty bad, who are passive aggressive. Like, oh, you really want to go do that thing? Like, they're not actively in your face, but everything you say is like this passive aggressive little dig at your dreams.
Not exactly supportive, but not exactly against it. Somewhere in the middle.
But they're against it, but they're not as vocal in it, right? It's like these little subtle jabs, which is also not great. Then we flip to the positive side where you have supporters, where they're like, okay, go do your thing, that's cool. And that's what my first 2 relationships were. It's like they were supportive of the thing that I was doing, but it was very much like, I do my thing, you do your thing.
Right.
And then the last category, which is Nina, and I mean your wife is here too, is an active cheerleader, where they're like, they want to support you in whatever way they can, right? And when I first started dating Nina, I had some event that I was going to speak at, and she's like, "Oh, can I come?" Like, yeah, you can come, but like it's gonna be super boring. Nina's not an entrepreneur; like, it's not her background. My wife Nina, she was in HR. It's like, you don't want to come. Like, it's all business. It's gonna be super boring. It's like, no, but I want to come and see you talk. Okay, sure. I just didn't want to deal with her then being bored and falling asleep at my event or whatever, right? Or whatever was in my head. And then she came, and I remember seeing her in the audience and how great it felt. It's like, that's a different feeling.
Yeah, you got your personal cheerleader.
Right? And it's not like she was, go, Evan, go, like whatever, a cheerleader, I guess we imagine. But just having somebody who I felt was like with me on this thing, even though it's still my thing. Like she had her career goals with HR and everything else. She had a 9-to-5 job, and I was doing this. But it felt like we were together on it. That she was actively supporting my dream instead of just like being a passive supporter, I guess. And I didn't know how much that actually meant to me. It didn't feel like I didn't feel like it mattered. I'll just do my thing, whatever, you do your thing, cool. But when I found that, it was a completely different feeling. And again, if you look at the website and you see the growth, it takes off. In large part because of Nina and her support and help. Now, she's since joined the company, and when we work together, and I think it's great. And people say don't work together. I think it's the best if you have good communication.
Absolutely.
So I think the key is finding people who actively support you. And when you come and say, I want to be the next Chris Williamson, they say, okay, like, what are you going to do? Not you? What are you talking about? Right? And it goes the same way, vice versa. Like, you support their dreams and what they're trying to work on and what they care about, and doing things for them that you would never do on your own, because that's what they hold. So people often look at it just one way, like, what am I getting? It was also like, this is a relationship. It's
it's a
what are you giving as well? Like, are you showing up for your partner?
Absolutely.
But I think it makes a big difference. Entrepreneurship is a really hard game, often very lonely. And when you're fighting in business world and fighting at home as well, not that you're actually getting into fights, but like you're fighting for your dream and you're the only one doing it. You have no support at all. It makes it really difficult. And it's not impossible. Right. Lots of people have done it. But I'd rather live in a world where I have a supportive person. I think you're just more likely to be successful and happier as well.
Stack the cards in your favor, right?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
So going back to what you said about working with Nina, what would you say are the benefits and the drawbacks of working with your spouse?
I think the biggest benefit is having somebody who knows what you're doing and understands. Having somebody with you on the journey. Somebody asked, I saw this interview where they asked a typical question of, is it the destination or the journey? And, destination or the journey. And everybody always says it's the journey, right? But this guy said it's neither. It's the company.
Ooh.
So it's like who you're going on the journey with, not just the journey itself.
Right.
Right. I was like, that's a nice little twist.
Yeah,
Like
that's
it's
good.
fun. It's great making videos and everything, but like I'd rather do it with people that I have fun with and like want to get to know. Even why are we here? I mean, we're at
Right.
this event in Arizona at Genius, their annual event, and I just had this idea. Okay, I'm doing this filming day. I got this little gap. What if we invite them up? And you said yes, and here we are. I mean, that was the depth of strategy behind it, right? Where this content goes and how well this show does, I mean, I have no idea. But it's just picking the company that you're doing things with.
Absolutely.
And we went salsa dancing the night before, and
Yep.
like even that idea, I just met you. Hey, you want to go salsa dance? I don't even know how that happened, right? We're going salsa dancing. Do you guys want to come? And you came and you were there before I was, and you're doing the lesson.
Oh, yeah.
And we just met that night. And there's other people who I've known for years and have done nothing with, right? Why? I don't know. It's just, I'm not over analyzing it. It's just following what makes me happy. So the idea of doing something with somebody and picking your company along the journey, I'm a big fan of. I love working with Justin here, for the video. I'm hard on him because he's capable and I love him, right? I mean,
Right.
and there's other people I've filmed with who then that's the end of we do one and that's it. Even if strategically it might be better to have somebody else at some point. So picking the company really matters. And so I'm super grateful to have Nina as part of it. We were the plan wasn't for her to join the company. It was never my intention. And for the first, I don't know how many years, she's been full-time since 2019. I did a tour in 2019. We did 23 cities in 90 days. And I wasn't going to leave Nina for 90 days.
Right.
So I was only doing a tour if she came. And so she took a leave of absence from her job for 90 days to do the tour. And she was the tour manager and organizing the venues and the hotels and like all the stuff that I suck at that she's great at. And then after that, she never went back to work. At least work for somebody else who works obviously very hard, but works for us, not works
Right.
for another business. And it was also a test of, can you work together with somebody? I think it's the best. Like, I think it's great. I wouldn't change that
Yeah, I agree
for
with you.
anything, dude. It's so great.
100%.
I understand why some people say don't work with family or friends. I think it's I hope my teammates become my friends. You just have to be willing to have hard conversations.
Yeah.
Right? Like if Justin screwed up here, like Justin, bro, what are you doing? Right? Like if you can't have those conversations, then there's no point. What's the worst part about working together? Probably she manages to put things on my radar that shouldn't be on my radar because she's dealing with it. Like problems that she's facing that are not my priority, she can put on my agenda because we live together.
Right.
And it's important to her, but it's actually not important to the business. Where another team member, like, why are you bringing me this? This is not, like, figure it out. But because she's struggling with it and because I don't want to see her stress
You got to help.
and struggle, then I got to help.
Right.
Or if it's things that are outside of, like even this morning. So I'm getting ready. It's a big day. We got 8 hours of filming, doing tons of episodes, getting ready for Mastermind, which is a huge deal for me. And there's a pan that had our ribs, that she made ribs. And the pan was like crazy dirty. And like, I had to scrub it. We have a guest coming over tonight and it had to be clean. And so like, this is not what I should be doing right now.
Right.
Like before I go get ready for a whole day of interviews and I'm going to be behind on work for 65 people on my team. The best use of my time right now is not scrubbing this
barbecue
pan.
sauce off the
Yeah,
pan.
exactly. Like scrubbing this pan from last night of ribs, right? This is not the best use of my time. Like who can I pay to come over here and scrub this
Right.
pan? But to make her happy and just to solve the problem, I'm there scrubbing the pan instead of doing something far more important with my time. And so there's that and communicating around that. I mean, that's whether it's a personal thing like that or a problem she's dealing with on the accounting or something.
Right.
It's like, this doesn't matter. But she can put it on my radar because we're together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I don't think it's a strong negative. Like you asked for one positive and one negative, that would be my negative. But like the pros, 1,000 to 1 outweigh
Oh, of course.
the negatives.
100%.
Well, for me at least, right?
Yeah.
You say of course, but like a lot of people never want to work with their spouses or friends and struggle with it a lot. So I don't necessarily say it's for everybody.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like if you can't work together, how do you have a marriage together? I don't understand, you know. Like we teach salsa here at the studio, and we'll have couples coming in, and sometimes they're already in a relationship, sometimes they're like budding, you know, they're fresh love or whatever, or like they're dating. And you can see the couples who like are trying to, like you guys, when you were dancing, you're trying to help each other. You're not very good. You just start, like you're learning, you take a class, you're making mistakes, you're missing the beat, you're like, and you're laughing your way through it and having fun together. Where you see some couples like get really upset.
Right.
You didn't do this and you stepped here, and it's just like, guys, it's a dance class.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you're gonna fight over a dance class, imagine when something actually big happens.
Right.
Right? Like somebody dies in the family, or you get fired, or your business goes under. Like, how are you gonna deal with that if you're super stressed out over a dance class that has zero impact? Like learning to dance is not a utility skill that's going to help you get more money, or right? It's a fun thing to do. So anyway, I guess I'm throwing judgment at people who can't work together, but just something to think about. It's like the ability to work together. You're working together in a relationship anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's a synergistic relationship regardless of if you work together or not in your career. Yeah. So what would you say is the importance of environment from the perspective of someone trying to better themselves or better their relationship or better their business?
I think you're a product of your environment. That's why I think content at scale is the solution, at least right now, to solving a lack of belief.
Proximity is power, right?
Yeah, it's like you may not have mentors. You may not have parents who are entrepreneurs. You may not. Chances are, whatever you want to do is not what you went to school for.
Right.
Did you go to school to learn how to do this? Like, no right? Right? And so we are products of our environment. But if you start to change your environment, the easiest way to do that is with the content that you're consuming. Yeah. So what videos are you watching? Who are you following on your Instagram feed? Like you talking about Chris Williamson or Alex Hormozi or other people that you respect. The goal isn't to like be them, but you can learn from them. That's very different than people who are just watching entertainment videos or people yelling at each other and either mindless. We often will go negative. And we like top 10 rules of success. People would much rather watch top 10 stupidest things that this person has said or done, right? Or we go mindless, like let me just numb my brain and look at some cat videos or whatever, right? And there's time and place, obviously, for all that stuff. But the more you can substitute out negative or mindless entertainment and put in education that's helping you, like the only way to get to a better place is if you start changing the actions.
Exactly. And
so if you start surrounding yourself with information and people that help you realize that it's possible and then give you the tools to do it, that's how you start to make the shift.
Yeah, you're much more likely to do it.
Yeah. So that's environment, right? And people say, well, I don't have a mentor. Like, but you don't, like you have YouTube. All the people who are like the best teachers are on YouTube. They're not in universities. The best teachers are on YouTube. You can go learn anything you want to learn. It's all there. Like billionaires are teaching on YouTube or whatever skill you want to get good at. There's awesome content for free that you can just go look up right now on YouTube that you can learn way faster than a weekly class at school or wherever else, right? So you get to choose the environment for yourself. We've been given one, but this doesn't have to be what you remain in. So the books you read, the videos you watch, the podcasts you listen to, if you did that consistently every day, like if you listen to a Chris Williamson episode every day, you're going to start to think like Chris Williamson and his guests, and it's going to up-level your thinking. Realize that much more is possible. If you listen to Elon Musk every day, you're going to start seeing the world like Elon Musk. You're going to start to up-level your thinking every day. And the point is just, for me, take what you like about the person. You may not love everything about Elon Musk or Alex Hormozi or Chris Williamson or whoever.
Take the good things.
That's it, right? It's like, I don't like that Elon Musk has been divorced however many times. Okay, cool. Don't take relationship advice from him. Right? Take business advice from him. Right? So like my dad's been, my parents are still together. I feel like, from my perspective, have a perfect relationship. I want to have a relationship like my parents have. When I'm their age and when I'm in my 70s, I want to have a relationship like they do. That's when that's one of the things I learned from my parents. I'm not taking business advice from my dad because he's not an entrepreneur. But I could learn from a Steve Jobs. Right. But I don't want to be a dad like Steve Jobs was. Exactly. Right? So like there's no perfect person to learn from. Yeah. If we're only seeing through the lens of negativity and what I don't want to be, then you're never growing and learning. but you can learn something from anybody who's had more success than you in whatever field you're trying to get better at. So the fact that they've done some negative things, cool, don't learn those things and take the positives that make you better, because your goal isn't to be like anybody else, it's just to be the best you.
I love that. Be the best you can be.
Yeah, and to do that, you take different things from different people.
I want to talk to you a little bit about what you call a play bigger trigger.
Yeah.
Being a self-proclaimed introvert, every time you see someone and think to yourself, man, I should go talk to them, but I can't because I'm nervous, you recognize this thought as a play bigger trigger. You've rewired your brain to do the thing that it doesn't want to do as a way to get you out of your comfort zone. How can someone watching this podcast use play bigger triggers in their own life?
If you think about so there's two. There's words and there's actual objects. So words. If you think about what are the reasons why you're not doing something, like if you had to think about for yourself some big goal that you've got, or even if you delayed starting this, like what's a reason why? What are you telling yourself why you can't do something? What would you say? Why can't you be Chris Williamson or bigger than Chris Williamson?
I gotta work on my conversational skills. My conversational skills aren't there yet.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a skill. Most people don't go like that. It's usually like it's too scary. It's too hard.
Okay, I got you.
Because, and it's fine for anybody who, if you think about the goals that we have, you'll catch it in your language patterns. I can't do that because blank. And so I try to train myself to catch it in myself and in others. It's like, well, yeah, but that's too scary a thing. Like, well, scary is not a good enough reason. Like, how did we accept scary as you're going to do things that you're never scared of? Then you're by definition staying exactly where you are, right? Mm-hmm. Like, how are you never scared? Because you're repeating the same day that you had yesterday.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, and so like so when breaking it down, that makes sense. But we still accept fear as a good enough reason. So for me, it's scary, difficult, hard. Those are trigger words that I'll use. That those are reasons that I've said historically. Oh, I can't do that because it's too hard. Like, I just said it. So now I have to do it, right? Because I caught myself saying it, writing it. The fact that it's hard is not a good enough reason. Even so we're both part of Genius Network. Joe, you're wearing his socks here, has this thing, ELF, that's easy, lucrative, and fun. Even the fact that the E is easy upsets me because I've trained myself that I want to do hard. Right. Right. And so I get the principle of what he's trying to get at, but it's every time it's like, well, things should be easy. Well, if it's worth doing, it's going to be hard. Yeah. Right. And so trying to train myself that anytime, even if I'm not going to call them out, if in your language you say, yeah, but that's too hard. If I don't know you, I'm not going to say, yeah, but come on, Justin, too hard. But in my own mind, it's like, okay, all right, well, I do hard. That's just, that would be my default. So it's a trigger. So anytime it's being said, because I know those are my weaknesses and trigger words, then now I have to go off and do it just because. The second is objects. So what can you, it could be a positive one or a negative one that forces you to do the positive. So what does your environment look like? What does your house look like? What does your car look like? When you walk in, what do you see? I've got a bag of Doritos behind me at all times. People ask, is Doritos sponsoring your video? Can't you get a healthier sponsor where you talk about your best life and you've got like the most toxic food behind you on your wall, right? I get that comment so much that we then bought damntodoritos.com, which forwards people to a video that explains why the Doritos are there.
Damntodoritos.com.
Yeah. So my strategy is called Damn the Doritos. Because when you're on a diet, people tell you get rid of all the junk food from your house. And it probably makes sense as a first step. It's like if you break your leg, you get on crutches. But my ultimate goal is to not have crutches forever. I want to be able to run and heal my leg. Right. So the way that my brain sees the get rid of junk food from your house is I'm telling myself I'm not strong enough to have the Doritos in front of me. And that upsets me. Yeah. So now I need to have it in front of me all times. And Doritos are my vice. Like even talking about them, my mouth is watering just thinking about eating Doritos. So we went to Costco and got like the half human size bag of Doritos.
The human size bag.
That's the one that sits on my background. Yeah. Because damn the Doritos, because like I'm stronger than the Doritos. That's the whole point of it being there, right? Absolutely. So it's a play bigger trigger. I look at the Doritos and I will talk to like damn the Doritos.
If I'm strong enough to avoid the Doritos, I'm strong enough to do this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I feel good about myself looking at the Doritos and knowing I'm not eating it every day. it's not necessarily advice I would give. It's not meant to be prescriptive. It's just here's what I do, and maybe that helps you, right? Because I never eat the Doritos, but I wanted there as a reminder of how awesome I am. Like that's a story in my head. It's like I'm awesome for not eating those Doritos.
I love that.
Right?
That's
Damn the
fantastic.
Doritos. And so then again, when people leave comments on the video about it, I would try to explain it every time, and then we just bought damnthedoritos.com, and now if they click on it, you can try. It just goes to a video explaining what the reason is for it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Damnthedoritos.com. Check it out.
Damnthedoritos.com. It's not even a video on my channel. It's like another podcast that I was on.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because somebody asked me, what's with the Doritos? And I get asked that fairly regularly because people are questioning it. When we're doing a Zoom, it's so obvious in the background that people say, what's with the Doritos? And so I just took one of those answers, and I found the second where he asked that question, and I just link it up. So you'll be supporting Justin Evans' YouTube channel if you check out Very nice. Another Justin. It's all Justins. It's coming up Justin today. So play bigger triggers are things that trigger you to play bigger.
Yeah.
Right. So it could be words that you catch yourself constantly saying, like I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't want to be the person who is afraid to do blank. Or it could be an actual object. So what do you need to put in your environment that you see on a regular basis that will remind you of how awesome you are?
I love that. Let's talk a bit about your weekly schedule or weekly rhythm. It's really interesting to me how you section off whole days for specific tasks. Like today is your interview day. Can you walk us through your weekly routine and explain why it's structured the way it is?
Yeah, so we'll get to the why first, and I can say what I do, because the why is probably more important than the what. We've all heard of, the switching cost between going from one task to another.
Yeah.
I have a higher switching cost, I think, than most, and it's more of an energetic switching cost. So as an introvert, it can be hard for me to get going on something, but once I'm in it, it's easier to stay.
Right.
So like getting ready for interview day here, it's all day. It's like 8 hours of interviews. I don't know how many we're doing, like a lot. After this, there's still 5 or 4 more interviews that I have to do, right? Or get to do, whatever. And when I'm scrubbing the pot, this morning I'm like nervous for doing it. But once I'm in it, okay, next, like there. It's super fun. Like you're getting the energy from episodes I've already done with other people, right? So it's like I'm already in it. It's great. You're like, do you want to know what I'm going to ask? Like, no. Like don't tell me. Just shoot. Let's go. Let's start. I'm in. I'm ready. It's easier to stay in that energy. And so like all I have to worry about today is this. And then the next 2 days, all I have to worry about is mastermind and showing up for people. So there's a big energy tax, not just a mental tax of switching, but the big energy tax to go from speaking to then writing my book to then making videos to then doing mentoring meetings. So then if you're like bouncing all over the place, I'm not my best at any of those things. But if I can just stick to one thing per day, ideally,
right,
or one type of thing per day, then it actually cumulatively builds. So so what do I do now? So that's the why. And I actually discovered that when I was writing my book, because I was writing my book, I found that it would take me 45 minutes to an hour just to get back to where I was when I stopped writing it the last week. So I was writing my book once a week, Your One Word, and I would walk to the Whole Foods and spend time writing the book. It took me like an hour to get back into like, what was I writing last week? And just getting back into the zone.
You drop into the flow state, right?
Yeah, just to remember where I was and what was happening and make sure the story makes sense. But then once I was there, I could stay there. Like I could then write for 5 hours. And so I'd lose the 45 minutes or an hour, but then I gained the 5 hours. But if I only wrote for 2 hours, it's the same cost at the beginning, 45 to an hour, but then I only have an hour afterwards. It's like, oh, I need chunks of time for this. If it's creative work, I need chunks of time. And then I realized almost everything I do is creative work. So I need to give everything chunks of time. So now what do I do? So Monday's my mentoring day. We have 65-ish people on the team. So I spend a whole day just mentoring the people on my team. And I'm just on calls all day long mentoring people.
Nice.
Tuesday is my YouTube day. So I spend the whole day working on YouTube video strategy, thumbnails, new series, whatever I need to do for the YouTube channel. It's not that I'll ignore my team, but everybody knows like Monday is
Monday's the team
message
day.
Me, DM me, you need help, like let me know. I'm all in Monday, give it to me. If there's an urgent thing that pops up, cool, but now you're pulling away from something else I'm working on. Wednesday's my project day, which is usually completely open. It's whatever I want to work on. So we have all these ideas as entrepreneurs. when do you have time to work on them? Most of the time we don't, because you're like so busy doing work on other things. You don't get to be creative and have fun. So Wednesday is my whatever I want to work on day, and completely open. Thursday is my public facing day. So that's my extrovert day, spread believe. So I'll have my movement makers in the morning, my training, and then interviews and podcasts and all day long, like this. Friday's my CEO day. And that's where it's like, if you were the CEO of your business, what would you do? And it's slightly different than Wednesday, because Wednesday I'm working in the business, where Friday I'm working on the business. And I used to do CEO hour every week, and that's turned into an entire day. But like, if you are the CEO of your business and you kind of step above, even if you're a one person company, okay, you're the janitor up to the CEO, but for this 1 hour, I'm going to be the CEO. What would you do differently if you're focused on being the CEO? Because you're not doing a podcast, you're doing something bigger.
Right.
And I like to space it out that way, so that Monday is crazy. Like, it's calls all day. Tuesday is insane. It's just YouTube all day. Thursday is also crazy. Interviews all day, like stacked.
Right.
But Wednesday, Friday is completely open. So I go from insane, busy, efficient, to then insane, open, creative. So when you're efficient, I don't think you're creative. Like, creativity is messy. When you're starting something new, it's messy. It's not efficient. It's like, why is it not working? Because you don't know what you're doing. So you got to play. So I leave time open for play on the Wednesday and the Friday.
I like that.
What does Friday look like for CEO day? I don't know. I will start the day as like, okay, what would the CEO of this business do? And I may not have an idea. I might go for a walk for 2 hours thinking about it. But that's fine. I have time for that. Because if you're just stacked, you can be really efficient, but then you're never working on like actual big things that really move the needle.
Yeah, you don't have the time to pick your head up and look at everything at a high level.
Yeah, I think you just don't have fun as an entrepreneur. If you never have time to be the CEO and you've never have time to work on projects you want to work on, you're not having fun as an entrepreneur, right? So then you burn out. How am I still, like, how many, even just a YouTube channel is from 2009, so it's been a while. How do I still make videos every week? Because it's still fun, right? Keep injecting fun. So then those days of the week extends into the weekend too. So Saturday's fun day, family fun day. So it could be, there's a festival happening, there's a show we go watch, whatever would be fun. And then Sunday is family admin day. So like Costco and buying the couch and, whatever, laundry, right? And I try to avoid, like, the thing is, if you don't have rules, everything blends into each other. So, if Sunday's family admin day, you could just as easily go on Saturday to Costco or buy a couch or whatever. But then when are you actually going to have fun? It's like, no, we'll do that. Yeah. That's Sunday. Today we're going to have fun. And if we don't know what fun looks like, well, then that's the job to figure out what's going to be fun today, instead of just defaulting to chores. And because there's always stuff to do. That's the problem. Like, in business and life, there's always stuff that has to be taken care of. Right. But it's the big rocks first, right? You've seen the big rocks first?
No, but it sounds familiar.
It's like if you take a jar and there's big rocks, small rocks, sand and water. If you put the water, sand, small rocks, the big rocks won't fit. But if you put the big rocks in first, and the pebbles like work their way around, and the sand works its way around, and the water works its way around, everything gets done. But if you do all the little stupid small stuff, then the big rocks, you just have these big rocks sitting outside that never fit inside the thing, right? But the big rocks are like the thing that matters the most. Talking about creating a playbook for life, like the big rocks are what matters the most. So if you never have space for fun and creativity, then it's never going to happen. It's just not going to happen on its own. You have to make sure that you need openness, you need space to be able to make that happen.
I love that you schedule in fun, man. I feel like that's something that almost everybody should do.
Maybe. I mean, I live by my schedule. I work better when I have a schedule. It allows me to be more intentional with my time. And at the start, I just did it, I think like how everybody does it, I just did it for business. And then what I would find is, as an entrepreneur, your business extends into your personal time a lot too. And then I found, like, okay, well, now I'm never working out. I'm not spending enough time with Nina. We're not doing family stuff. We're always like, if we're doing family stuff, it's more admin, Costco, laundry, shopping, whatever. It's like, if you had to step back and design your life, this would not be the life.
Right.
But I'm living it because I'm not intentional about it. So let me step above and actually design it. Then I can jump back in and live the life I just designed. Right. So, like, why is it working so well in my business? Well, because I have things scheduled. So what if I just schedule my workout time and schedule time with Nina and fun, right? And when I did that, it worked.
Nice.
I don't know that it works for everybody. I'm not, again, it's not like this is what you should go do and make
Yeah.
it prescriptive, but it definitely works for me.
Nothing is ever just one way, right?
Yeah, it's like try it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, schedule for a week and just see how it goes.
I like
And you'll
that.
probably make mistakes. Like you'll often underestimate how long something takes or overestimate how long something takes.
Mm.
So then next week you can be a little smarter about how you schedule your time.
I love that. What's your one message to all the young kids like myself who are out there trying to make a personal brand on YouTube and social media?
Figure out what the brand means. Like, what do you want to be known for? You know, so like, what is a brand? Is an emotion.
Mm.
So when you look at Nike or Coca-Cola or whatever, you feel something. So mine is around belief. If you thought about the Justin brand, what do you want people to feel when they think about Justin?
Inspiration, clarity of what you want out of your life.
Great. Most people couldn't answer that question. So like, well, let's start with that. If you're going to have a brand, well, what is your brand going to be known for?
Yeah.
If you think of Ferrari, it means something. If you think of Honda, it means something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's right or wrong, but like what's right or wrong for you. So when you get, and that doesn't have to be the final version, but it's already a lot more clarity than what most people have.
Right.
Cool. Next step is what are you going to create around those themes? So if it's always about inspiration and clarity, how can you help consistently show inspiration and clarity? And that might be interviews, that might be solo content, that might be commenting on the news, that might be like lots of different things.
Mm.
But that's your through line to then start creating content around it.
Right.
So if it's not about clarity or giving people inspiration, then you either don't do it or you find a way to make it have clarity and inspiration.
Mm.
So that when I look at your thing, like a brand isn't what you make, is what other people are saying about you. So what do you want them
Yeah.
to say about you? Are you thinking about that when you're posting your Instagram stories and your reels and your YouTube videos and any interviews that you're doing? How can you bring more clarity and inspiration to everything that you make so that people will say, yeah, if you want more clarity and inspiration, you got to go follow Justin.
Right. It's making positive associations with the things that you want people to associate you with.
Yeah, and it's being intentional about what you're doing. A lot of times people don't have intention. They're just making something because it looks cool or somebody else is doing it.
Right.
It's like, but I don't want to do this.
Mhm.
This isn't even cool for me. I don't know why I'm doing this. Well, if you run it through the filter of I want to help people get more clarity and inspiration, it might change how you show up and do that thing. You know, if you're making a video about coming to Toronto and it's like, I've never been to Canada before, there's so many ways you could take that video. It could be a travel vlog. It could be your top 5 recommendations of restaurants. It could be, we tried Tim Hortons for the first time. It could be like so many different things. But if you put it through the lens of clarity and inspiration, if you said, I'm coming to Canada, it's our first time going because we're here to get inspired, because I want to be the type of person who's going to new countries and having new conversations. Like, you can tell it through an inspirational journey.
Right.
As opposed to a travel vlog or something else. Right. And so having that clarity for you helps the content itself be more intentional when it's being released.
I love that. That's fantastic. A quote that I love from your book, Built to Serve, which you should buy immediately, is money is an important tool. It's just not number one, but it's also not number 100. Something has to come before money, and that something is your who, your most important core value. Now let me ask you this. How has gaining clarity on your core values and foundational beliefs helped you in life?
I want believe, which is my who, to be at the cornerstone of everything, because that makes me happy.
Yep.
It's who I am, and it's what people gravitate towards me for. That's my brand. And so that's more important than making money. If I was going to make money, like I could make more money doing negative content, top 10 stupidest things that this person has said, right? We can make more money doing that for sure.
Right.
And lots of people do make money in negativity, and that's fine. I would burn out from that because it's not fun. It feels gross. So I wouldn't do it. So if you look at all the videos on the channel, they're all positive in some way. Now, do we hit it exactly as we want each time? No, it can always be better. But the intention, the spirit is always through the lens of belief.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. And they say the devil always comes carrying a bag of cash. And so like you could make more money in the short term doing something negative that's against, if somebody said, I'll pay you a whole bunch of money, but it's not inspirational. It's not helping people with clarity. It's sometimes a tough decision. Like, ooh, I can make a lot more money. But then you end up with like the wrong people and lawsuits and like issues and just chaos and negativity. It's just not worth it. But money is also not bad. You know, it's like people grow up with like money is the root of all evil. But that's not the actual quote. It's like the love of money is the root of all evil, right? It's not money itself. Money is a tool. It's the love of the thing that is the root of all evil. And so if you don't make money, you're not in business. You're not an entrepreneur. You're not around. Like if you're a charity, if you're a church and you don't make money, you don't have your charity or church anymore. You have to make money. It's a tool. It just can't be number one.
Yep.
And so some people put it as the only thing that matters. This person walking in, that's my next suit, that's my next car, that person's my next purse. Like, no, they're not. They're like a human. You're here to help them, right? And helping them is more important than closing the sale.
Yeah.
You might be better to push them somewhere else. But it's also, money is also not number 100 because then you never make money. A lot of people are there. Like they just give and give and give and give and give and they just want to serve. And like, you never make money and then you can't actually serve. Like if you don't make money, then you're just doing this part-time and on the weekends, which is actually cheating the world of your gifts. Because if you had 50, 100, 5 people working for you, you could do so much more. Even if you were doing your work full-time versus you doing part-time even in weekends, you could do so much more. But to do that, you have to be able to make money. So it's very, very, I love making money. I'm an entrepreneur. It's great. It needs to be in your top 5. It just can't be number 1.
Yeah. A great quote that I love by Ayn Rand is, "Money won't help the man without purpose." Because what are you making that money for if you don't know what you want to do? What is that going to help you accomplish? You have no idea what you want. So what are you going to use this tool for, right? Probably things that aren't very productive or very constructive, right? So it's important to gain clarity on your who, right?
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we first met, I asked you for a minute of advice on this podcast and a few actionable pointers. You gave me 10 minutes of great advice and then invited me and my wife here to interview you shortly after. It reminds me of a quote from my dad. "Givers that keep score aren't givers at all. They're traders. Givers are people that give purely out of generosity. What you did that day was pure giving. My question to you is, how do you consistently show up as a giver every day, especially in a world that sometimes feels transactional?"
Well, that's what a question to end on. I'm not thinking about it is probably the easiest answer. I'm feeling my way through it instead of thinking about it. So why did I connect with you and spend time in the hallway? I don't know. I liked your vibe. Like that was the extent of it. And then why invite you to come here instead of others who I have known for a lot longer? I just felt it. So I asked you, it's like, I'm not thinking about it afterwards. Whether this becomes some great long-term relationship when we start all these businesses together, awesome. Whether I never see you again, awesome. Whether you like last minute decide not to show up, cool. Like whatever.
Right.
I'm not thinking about it. I'm just feeling my way through it. And I'm sure I could be missing out on other opportunities if I was more strategic. But I know a lot of great things have come by just following my feelings on it. And so it's super frustrating sometimes for my team to know what I'll like and what I won't like, what opportunities to say yes to and what opportunities to say no to or pass. And I just let my heart be the guiding decision, and then I don't think about it anymore. Like if you said no, we can't make it, and then I saw you at the next event, be like, hey, sorry, I couldn't make it. Like, what are you talking about? That's just how I operate, for better or for worse.
Right.
And I think if you just make big decisions with your heart first, and then you can use your head to figure it out instead of the other way around. I think you lead a happier life. And back to it's about the company you keep. Is it about the journey or destination? It's the company you keep along the way.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to optimize for.
I love that. So right before we end, I would like you, Evan, to tell me why I suck.
So that's the thing. When I go on shows, or when I'm talking to a mentor, I'll ask, why do I suck? Tell me why I suck. Because it lets them give you honest feedback. Most people say, well, you don't suck, and then you get the actual advice.
Right.
Just for context for your audience, because it sounds like a harsh question. You suck because you've only done 6 episodes.
I guess that's fair.
Where's the content, man?
Yeah.
There
you go. Just like we were talking about volume of repetition.
Yeah, like if this matters to you, if you think you got something here, you want to be Chris Williamson, you want to have a huge impact, you want to take this and like do something meaningful with it, WTF on 6 episodes. Like
Yeah.
go make it happen. And to your credit, you did. Like you flew from Hawaii or whatever to come here. That's great. And like, okay, when's the next one happening?
Yeah.
Where are you by the end of the year? Where are you by the next year?
It's a good start.
Yeah, that's kind of a good start. It's like it's a barely start. If you want to know why you suck.
Absolutely.
Cool, man.
Evan Carmichael, been great talking to you.
Thanks, man.